Welcome back to our 9th chapter, Elements of Group 13, 14 and 15 of Chemistry. This is Snehal Chopde from SSGM College, Kopargaon. In last session, we have seen about the bond enthalpy value. In today's session, we are going to deal with allotropy. Now, what is allotropy? First, we are going to see. When the element exists in different crystalline form, that time it is having different physical properties. And which are the physical properties here? That are the color, density and melting point. So if they are different from the physical properties, if the colors are different, density is different and melting point is different, this phenomena is called as allotropy. That means same element but it is exist in crystalline form with different physical properties, and if the individual is there like that, it is called as the allotrope. Here in the picture you can see graphite and carbon is given. That is, both are made up of carbon, that is graphite and diamond. The element is carbon, but here two crystalline forms are given. One you can see which is blackish or grayish in color, while diamond it is white and it has shine in itself. So since it is both are made up of carbon but it has two forms which are different in color, density and melting point, we say that carbon possesses allotropy, and these are the allotropes of carbon. So here next comes allotropes of phosphorus. So what are the allotropes of phosphorus? There are two types of phosphorus, namely white and red phosphorus. So here white or yellow phosphorus consists of discrete tetrahedral P4 molecule. It is having the structure that is tetrahedral, tetra because 4 molecules of phosphorus are attached to each other, and the angle between the 3p are 60 degrees Celsius. It is less stable. It is less stable, that means we can say that it is more reactive. The element which is less stable, they show more and more reactivity, and which are more stable, they show very less reactivity. So because of whom they are less stable and more reactive, because of this property it is their angular strain in the P4 molecule. Angular strain is being more because of less stability and more reactivity. Here in the diagram you can see 4 molecules of phosphorus are attached to each other, and the 3 phosphorus, the angle between the 3 phosphorus it is 60 degrees Celsius. This was about white phosphorus and the structure. Next we are going to see the properties of white phosphorus. What is white phosphorus? How does it look? So it is translucent. Translucent means it is water. It looks like water. Transparent. But it has thick color, that is white color, and waxy solid. White waxy solid. If you have seen the candles, you can see that when we burn the candle and the wax melts, that is called as wax. So it is translucent, white waxy solid. It glows in the dark, and the phenomena when any element it glows in the dark, it is called as chemiluminescence. That means the property of the element to glow in the dark. Here in the picture you can see that here in the conical flask white phosphorus is there, and if you keep it in the dark, it glows. That means it emits some kind of light from it. It is insoluble in water. If you put this white phosphorus in water, it will not dissolve, but it will dissolve in NaOH, but the condition is that the NaOH should be boiling. If at normal temperature of NaOH you are combining this white phosphorus with NaOH, it will not dissolve. But if the NaOH is boiling, that is more high temperature of sodium hydroxide is there, that time only the white phosphorus will dissolve in boiling NaOH. And it is poisonous in nature. It is very harmful if you consume it. Therefore, it is called it as very poisonous. It is poisonous in nature. This was the properties of white phosphorus. Next allotrope of phosphorus is red phosphorus. Now, how is red phosphorus? You can see in the picture. It is having grayish shine on it, and it is brittle in nature. You can see how does it look. You can also see at home on the matchsticks, whatever you are burning the matchstick. If you see the matchstick, there on the tip of the matchstick, the red substance, whatever it is, that is nothing but the red phosphorus. Red phosphorus consists of P4 tetrahedral linked together by covalent bond. It is also tetrahedral. 4 phosphorus molecules are attached to each other, but the condition is that it is having chain. That means 4 phosphorus are attached to the next 4 phosphorus and so on, and they are creating a chain. Therefore, we call it as that it is polymeric in nature. Polymeric to make the chain. Here you can see 4 phosphorus are again attached to the another 4 phosphorus and another 4 phosphorus and so on. That means they are creating the chain. Therefore, we call it as polymeric in nature. Poly means many. Many phosphorus atom they are attached to, and what type of structure it is? Tetrahedral. Now next comes the properties of red phosphorus. What are the properties? It is stable and less reactive. White phosphorus we have seen, it was less stable and more reactive. But when it comes about red phosphorus, it is stable. Since it is stable, it is having no reason to react with another element. Therefore, it is less reactive. It is odorless. It is having no kind of smell. It possesses iron grey luster. In the picture you have seen that it is having iron grey luster. Shine is there. It does not glow in the dark. We have seen white phosphorus glows in the dark, that is it is having the chemiluminescence property, but here red phosphorus does not glow in the dark. It is insoluble in water. As white phosphorus, red phosphorus is also insoluble in water. But here white phosphorus was poisonous, but red phosphorus is non-poisonous in nature. This was the properties of red phosphorus. Next, we are going to see molecular structures of some important compounds. In that, number first compound is boron trichloride, BCl3. Now, what is the molecular structure of boron trichloride? It is sp2 hybridized, having one vacant unhybridized p orbital. sp2 hybridized, but one p orbital is vacant and it is not hybridized, that is it is unhybridized orbital. Boron in PCl3 has incomplete octet. We know that whatever electrons are present in the outermost shell, they are trying to complete their octet. Here octet means 8 electrons in the outermost shell, but it has, in case of boron, it is having incomplete octet. That means in the outermost shell 8 electrons are not present. The BlCl3 is non-polar trigonal planar molecule as shown. What type of structure it is having? Non-polar trigonal, that is triangular you can say, and planar, that is all the 3 chlorine atoms they are in the same plane. They are not in the another plane, they belong to the same plane, therefore planar molecule as shown. And between Cl, boron and again Cl, the bond angle is 120 degree Celsius. Next comes aluminium chloride. Here aluminium chloride, that is AlCl3. It is also sp2 hybridized. Again it is also having one vacant unhybrid p orbital. Here also one vacant p orbital is present in aluminium chloride. It exists as a dimer Al2Cl6. That means when we are talking about aluminium chloride, what is the formula? AlCl3. But if you are taking 2, that dimer means what? Here 2 atoms of aluminium, and here first we have taken 3Cl, it becomes double, that is Cl6. That is called the dimer. It exists as a dimer. formed by overlap of vacant 3d orbital of aluminium. Why it is forming? Because of the overlapping of vacant 3d orbital of aluminium with a lone pair of electrons on chlorine. We know that on chlorine one lone pair exists there, and because of that it is forming the bond for what? To make the dimer, and that is Al2Cl6. Structure is given below. Now next comes the more awaiting slide, that is thank you slide. Thank you for attending today's session. I hope you have understood the structure, molecular structure, and the bonding and the angle between the molecules. Thank you for attending today's session. Study well. Stay tuned. See you soon. Goodbye.